Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining. Very special day of Ekadashi of the Purushottam month. And we are continuing with our 10th chapter today. Let us begin with prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you, Prabhu. And with your permission again, I'd like to give all of you a quick summary of what we discussed in the previous session, where the one key takeaway, what I love this one line of yours, is bhakti is just not based on sentiments, but it finds its sentiments. Where we even discussed why just studying the Vedantas theoretically or just based in knowledge, something more than that is bhakti. The practice of bhakti, which culminates in the love of Godhead, which has in its entirety knowledge and renunciation. So it's just not a sentimental process. And we also discussed why it's not the best option to just practices of spirituality, just keep skipping here and there, but commit to one process. And
test of process is whether it's reasonable, sensible, verifiable, and approved by transcendentalists or spiritual teachers that come in the lineage or parampara. From there, Prabhu, if I've missed anything, you can add on, or I can start my barrage of questions for today.
Sure, please do start. I think that's a good summary.
Thank you, Prabhu. So we've had a lot of discussion on the existence of God, on seeing the signature of God in the hand of God if we cannot see His presence physically. But again, one question arises: if there is so much speculation, so much discussion on this just one topic, how convenient would it be if God personally came down, showed up, and put an end to all this confusion? Why doesn't that happen? Is that not a much better option? What do you think?
So why are all of us breaking our heads with so much of arguments and scientific, rational discussion? So wouldn't it be better if just God came and showed up? Hey, look, I'm here. This is me. I'm the creator, controller. So better not argue about my presence. So would it not be a good option for God? Why don't you send a post, a WhatsApp message to God that I have got some better ideas than you. By the way, are we audible? Clearly audible? Yes, audible. Okay, great. Thank you. So the question is about seeing is believing. So wouldn't it be better if you could just see God and then it puts an end to all this argument? Now, what we perceive in this world is being in a box, right? So I have closed myself up in a box. And what is this box? This is my box, right? I have closed myself up in this box, and I am trying to figure out things which are outside this box. So I have kept a black box. and it's a dark black box. And this dark black box is inaccessible. That doesn't have any opening to the outside world. I'm sitting in that dark black box or a cave, for that matter, which is completely closed. So if I say, show me light, only then I'll believe in light, in something called light. I'll believe in light only if you show me light. Then I will say, maybe you also need to make some effort to come out of your box. You are trapped within this box and you want to see something outside this box. Come out of this box. The box of our sensory perception, what is visible from the eyes, what is audible to the ears, what is, our tactile, our olfactory, all of these sensory perceptions, this is all in this box. So, but the spiritual realm is outside this box. God is outside this box. He is the creator. So I cannot expect to see God without coming out of my closed box. So first, I would request you, can you step outside the box? And then I'll show you God. And the other thing is that we want to see God through our eyes, right? But even if you look at the eye, the organ called eye, you can see God. The organ of eye is so complex in itself, and the fact that we are able to see the variegatedness of this world is a miracle in itself, and that in itself is beholding the Creator. When you see the eye, we want to see through the eye. I would say just see the eye itself, you will see God. So, when you want to see something, when you want to experience something, it's about three things. First is, are you approaching it? Right? If I want to see the Niagara Falls, I need to go where the falls are. I can't sit here and say they don't exist. You show me here, then I'll believe. You come there, we'll show you. Now, buy a ticket, spend some money, right? So first you need to access it. Second is you need to tune yourself to it. And this is a very interesting thing. We see only those things which we are tuned to see, which we are wanting to see. Two kids were just playing in the sand on a beach, and they were just in childhood. I guess you might also have played those games on the beach, making sand castles and looking for those prettier round shells. Right? That's what we do. Different types of different shapes of shells, small, big, etc. A smoother shell, a prettier shell. And then there's a feeling of accomplishment. Okay, I have found this shell. It is pure white in color. It has a yellowish shade, right? So these children are playing on the sand, the beach, looking for these shells. A gentleman just by their side is looking for his lost golden ring, which he somehow dropped. And he's also frantically searching for it. And these kids, what's going on in their mind when they see, oh uncle, did you find a prettier shell? So did you find a bigger shell? See, this is our biggest shell. Oh, this is our smoothest shell. So let us know if you find something prettier than this. And guess what the uncle says? Oh, I didn't even notice if there is any shell here. Why, uncle? There are so many shells. No, I was looking for my lost golden ring. By the way, did you see the golden ring? Golden rings? Where in the world would you find golden ring on a sea beach? So they were, even if they had seen that golden ring, they would not have been able to notice or register it, because all they were looking for, they were tuned for, was the the shell, right? So we see what we are tuned for. That is the second thing. So if you are tuned to see God, Krishna, in this chapter, the 10th chapter is showing that you can see me in the mountains, you can see me in the Himalayas, you can see me in the among the animals, I am lion. Seeing the glory of lion, the power of lion, you can see where is this power coming from. When you see the might of the ocean, you can see Krishna. So, are we willing to see Krishna? So, even within the box, if God appears even within our box, right, we won't be able to see Him. And the standard, and the reason is because we are not tuned for that. We are tuned to look for the shell, not the gold. And the fact of the matter is that Krishna personally appeared in this world, but how many people were able to see him as the Supreme Lord? When Lord Shri Krishna came up to Duryodhan, what Duryodhan saw was just an ordinary human being with some mystic powers. And instead of offering his respects to him, he tried to bind Krishna. Okay, if I am able to bind Krishna, the half the power of the Pandavas is gone. But he doesn't realize that not only the power of the Pandavas, the power of even Duryodhana comes from Krishna. So he bound him up. When Shishupal was told about the Govardhan Leela, can you guess what did he conclude? Oh, it was not some Govardhan hill. He might have picked up some mushroom, some small mushroom. When he was told about the Kaliya Daman pastime, Krishna subduing Kaliya, he said, oh, he might have tamed some water snake. So even if Krishna comes in front of us, if you are not tuned, we won't be able to see Krishna. We won't be able to see God. So first step is come out of the box. God cannot be captured within this box which He created for us. And we have to get out of the box. We have to approach the Niagara Falls to see the falls, access it. Second is, and how do we access it? By sadhana, spiritual practices. That's the means by which we come out of the box, come out of our black cave, and then we are able to access light, knowledge. And then tune it into, look for God. And you will be able to see Krishna within the creation. You don't even need to have Krishna personally appear. You'll be able to see Krishna within His creation. And that's what this 10th chapter from the 19th to the 39th verse is talking about. Yad yad vibhuti mattatvam shrimad urjitam evava tattad evavagachatvam mama tejo amsha sambhava. Whatever splendor you see in this creation is just a spark of me. When you see that spark, you should know the real inferno, real fire is me. So access the Lord, coming out of the box. Second is tune into the Lord. And third is about intensity. We have tuned ourselves, but do we really have the intensity to look for the Lord? Again, a young boy was searching for his contact lenses. He has dropped them somewhere and not able to figure out where they were. And he searched for a while, for some time. He could not find them. And he said, maybe not my luck to find it. His father came, son, what are you searching for? Papa, I just dropped my contact lenses somewhere. I'm trying to find them, not visible. So I think we'll have to get a new pair. And Papa came in and he searched in frantically, and within 5 minutes he said, here are your contact lenses, put them up. So why was the father able to find? The son asked, Papa, मैं तो 1 घंटे से ढूंढ रहा था, मुझे नहीं मिला. आपको 5 मिनट में कैसे मिल गई? And the father said, बेटा, तू तो contact lenses ढूंढ रहा था, मैं 50,000 रुपए ढूंढ रहा. So when we know the value of what we are searching for, we'll have intensity. So if we just think, okay, Krishna, another God, another heroic character, just as you have Superman, Spider-Man, there is something called Krishna. So then we might not get it. But if we really have the intensity of the value of what we are looking for, then definitely seeing is believing.
Again, where you come from is you change the perspective of your vision, and if you tune in the right manner, what you're looking for, you know the value. Maybe then you'll be in a better position to find meaning of searching for God. But Prabhu, you spoke about being in the box. You spoke about searching for your seashells, your golden ring. Each one of us is in our own box searching for our own golden ring, be it in the field of politics, sports, cinema, whatever professional careers we pursue. Somehow everyone wants to be the best. And this brings me to this beautiful quote. Everyone thinks he's unique, and in that way, everyone is the same.
Sure.
So we want to be the best in any field we pursue. What does the Gita talk about being competitive, about this thick competition that sometimes makes environment toxic, relationships toxic? So what does it talk about being competitive and survive in this world and thrive in this world?
Okay, so wanting to be the best. So this is something which everyone wants to be. I am the best. I am the best. Yes, you are the best. And sitting in BSC best versus we are the best, definitely. But we are the best. Amchi Mumbai is the best. Mera Indore is the best. Mera Jaipur is the best. So whatever we should be the best. Whatever thing belongs to me, that should be the best. My place should be the best. My country should be the best because I am the best, right? And there is this tendency to be at the top of everything and in the center of everything. To be the center of attraction and to be at the top. So this is something which is a very deep urge of all humans, especially in today's, as you said, cutthroat competitive society. Now, if you look at it, Parashar Muni, he describes that whatever, like why do we want to be at the top and in the center? Because that's attractive, right? Being at the top makes you attractive. Being in the center makes you attractive. So Parashar Muni says, what makes people attractive? What makes things attractive? So he says, Aishwarasya samagrasya viryasya yashasya shriya jnanam vairagyayo chaiva shanna bhaga itingana. So he says, anything in this world, any person in this world has an attraction quotient. This is a very interesting thing, an attraction quotient. And that attraction quotient is based on 6 factors. If something or someone is attractive, he or she should have one or more of these 6 to some extent. So Aishwarya means wealth. If someone is wealthy, they are attractive. They raise eyebrows. Limousine mein travel karke gaye, right? It raises eyebrows. You become the center of attraction, right? Everyone looks out. Bhai Lamborghini chala raha hai. So your wealth makes you attractive. Virya, strength, power makes you attractive. Someone has a Hulk, very big, strong body. That makes that person stand out, right? So strength makes people stand out. Strength makes people attractive, and not just physical strength, even political strength, strength of weapons. Like America is attractive because it has got the best of weapons, right? That is one reason. Their defense systems are the most powerful. So strength makes you attractive. Yasha or fame, which means how many followers you have, how many likes you have, that makes people attractive. अरे भैया ये तो 1 million वाले हैं, ये 2 million, ये तो बड़ी बिरादरी के हैं, ये छोटी जात के हैं. So even caste system is there on Insta and Facebook everywhere, based on you do podcast with people of your biradari, things. So it's everywhere. But what makes attractive is if someone has got fame, celebrities, sports stars, it's their fame that makes them attractive, and people die for their moment of attention. Viryasya yashasya shriya means beauty. Beauty makes people attractive. If someone is smart, handsome, beautiful, that makes eyebrows get raised and people keep turning till they can catch the last glance of the person. So that makes people attractive. What else? Then jnana or knowledge, wisdom, that makes people attractive. Albert Einstein is attractive. Once Albert Einstein was approached by an actress, a Hollywood actress, that sir, you are so intelligent and you are so wise, such a wise person, and I am so beautiful. Just imagine if we were to marry and if we would have progeny, that progeny would have best of both worlds, your intelligence and my beauty, right? That would really create a beautiful race. So what do you think about my proposal? Einstein said, well, that might be a probability, but what if the progeny gets your intelligence and my beauty? So the intelligence makes people attractive, right? And then renunciation. Renunciation, therefore, Shankaracharya, Lord Buddha, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Srila Prabhupada, all of these who renounce the world to gain spiritual, to gain the spiritual world, they are very attractive. So therefore, these are the 6 things which make people attractive. Now, we just trying to understand this. So anyone wants to be the top means they need to have one of these 6 things. Anyone wants to be at the center, they need to have one of these 6 things. And now if something or someone can help someone's attractive potency, which can become an object of my enjoyment, then that person or thing is favorable. But if that person or thing, if its attractive potency becomes an obstacle to my enjoyment, then there is competition, insecurity, envy, right? So Gita gives us X-ray vision. Okay, there is so much competitiveness, insecurity, maybe there are limited resources. No, that's not the point. The point is, when we look at something or someone who is attractive either because of beauty or wealth or knowledge, do we perceive that person as a threat to our enjoyment? Then we respond with envy. But if you perceive that person as an object of your enjoyment or a possibility for your enjoyment, then I love you, right? So, but now your question is, this creates such like some ugly scenarios in the society. Right? There is exploitation, there is envy, there is anger and revenge because of this kind of a mindset. So what does Krishna have to offer us? So does it make sense? Does it sound interesting, dear friends? The attraction quotient. When we find ourselves envying someone, or when we trying ourselves get obsessed over something or someone, let's look at it as, okay, this has some attraction quotient, attraction potential, which is attracting me. Now Krishna, in the 10th chapter, he says that whatever attractive thing you see in this world, I am the summum bonum of attraction. Beauty se attract ho rahe ho na, and you find that female to be more attractive than you. You find that female as a competition to you. कि अरे ये मेरे से ज्यादा सुंदर है, शी इज अ कंपटीशन. कृष्णा से छोड़ो यार, क्या तुम्हारी दोनों की सुंदरता का कुछ ये नहीं है. If you see my beauty, even Lord Shiva gets enchanted by Krishna's beauty as Mohini Murti. So he says, don't play with peanuts. I'm exposing you to the summum bonum brilliance of all these opulences. So then if you want to make one, a line smaller, what do? Our dear friends, if I have a certain line drawn on the wall, if I want to make it small, what do? I can't erase it.
Okay, you can't erase it.
You can't erase it. Draw a bigger line next to it. So if you find something attractive and you feel, oh, I want to exploit, or I'm envying this person is making me insecure. Think of the bigger line. Krishna is the infinite line of beauty, of wealth, of knowledge, of renunciation, of fame, right? And when you put that Krishna line in next to that small, very infinitesimal small line, you find that actually there's no point envying or exploiting this individual or object. Let me turn my attention to Krishna. So Krishna says, I am whatever attractive object or thing you see in this world, I am the beginning of that. I am the basis of that. I am the beauty of that. And I am the best among that. So here, if you see, I'll just read out some examples. So for the category of Krishna saying, I am the best. I am the best means the topmost, the epitome of beauty or knowledge or strength is Krishna. So Krishna says, of all devatas, I am Indra. Indra is the lord of all the devatas. Devaraja Indra. So Krishna says, of all devatas, I am Indra, which means when you see Indra, you see him just as a rubber stamp. You just see him as a socket. Where is the power coming from? Krishna. Among the Vasus and Agni, then he says, among the elephants I am Eravas, the best of all elephants. Among the cows I am the Surdi cow. Among the fishes I am the shark. So the shark is the most fierce fish. So chota machli dekh ke matlab for a small fish and bigger fish is fearsome. But when both of them look at the shark, they realize there is no significance of our existence, right? So Krishna says, I am the best among everything. Then the next is Krishna is saying, I am the beauty of everything. If something is really worth attention and attraction, इसके अंदर जो beautiful principle है ना, that's me. So Krishna says, of those who are victorious, I am morality. Those who seek victory, I am morality. So actually, if some person is a conqueror, they are victorious, but if they are exploitative, if they are immoral, what happens? The land which they win over becomes becomes a playground of death, becomes a playground of exploitation. Well, we have seen enough of invaders coming and looting people, killing people, raping women. So Krishna said, what is the use of victory if there is no morality? When Shivaji Maharaj was victorious and he conquered over a particular region, so his men brought in the queen and the beautiful, the beauty of that, and Shivaji said, what happened? Brought her. So they said, just like they take away our women, we brought this, right, just for revenge. So what did Shivaji Maharaj say? First of all, he begged forgiveness from that queen, and he gave her the best of respect and adoration. He said, you are like my mother. So he ordered her to be very respectfully sent back to her home. So Krishna is saying, what is the use of victory if there is no morality? So he says, I am the morality among those who seek victory. So whatever grandeur is there, whatever attractive thing is there, if it doesn't have the beauty, then it's just brutal. It may be very massive, powerful, but if it doesn't have that beauty, if it doesn't have that meaningfulness and kindness, then it's brutal. So Krishna says, I am the beauty of everything which is attractive. Then Krishna says, I am the basis of everything, the foundation of everything. Which again, yeah, Krishna says, among the lights I am the radiant sun. This is very interesting. So, abhi if there is a particular 5-watt bulb, chota sa night bulb, 5-watt bulb. So, but a 10-watt bulb says, what is your light? I am double your light. Then a 50-watt bulb comes in and says, both of you are useless. I'm a 50-watt bulb. And these two 5 and 10-watt bulbs, they feel insecure seeing the 50-watt bulb. Right? And then there is the halogen lamp in the street. It says all of three of you are useless in front of my power. Then in front of the floodlight in the cricket stadium, all 4 of them are useless. They were boasting about themselves, but now on looking at the floodlight in the cricket stadium, our existence is useless. But all 5 of them forget that where is their power coming from? So where is the light from any of these bulbs or lights coming from? You directly jump to the sun. That's what not you're supposed to.
The electricity.
Okay, electricity. Where does electricity come from? Okay, from the turbines, and the turbines are either, if it is tidal power, it comes from the river. If it is coal power, it comes from burning the coal to the steam turbine. Okay, now let's get back to if it is tidal power, where does the power of the river come from? The power of the river comes from the clouds. Because when the clouds, they shower rains on the mountains, then there is ice, and then there is river which comes down. There is a stream. So now where does the water come into the cloud?
To the process of evaporation from the ocean.
From the ocean. But why? Who evaporates the water of the ocean?
Sunlight.
The sunlight. So you can trace the power of that 5-watt bulb, 10-watt bulb, 50-watt bulb, halogen light, and the floodlight back to the sun. They cannot boast of any independent power of themselves. All of their power is coming from the sun. Even if you take steam turbines operated by coal, burning coal, where does coal come from?
Fossil, which is decayed trees, ages back.
Okay, decayed trees, ages back. Where did the trees get their energy from? So the process of photosynthesis, again, they gain energy from the sun. So you cannot have any independent source of power in this world. So Krishna says, I am the basis, I am the source of anything which is beautiful, anything which is knowledgeable, anyone who is wise, beautiful, famous, or wealthy. I am the source of whatever wealth, knowledge, beauty they have. Right? And their beauty, knowledge, strength, wealth, renunciation will always be minuscule in comparison to Krishna. That's what Krishna says, I am the basis of everything. And then he also says, I am the beginning of everything. He says, I am the seed of this creation. When you see a big banyan tree, Krishna says, I am the seed. The tree cannot begin without the seed. And so Krishna says, I am the beginning, I am the basis, I am the beauty or brilliance, and I am the best. And when you see things from this perspective, anything attractive that you see, it will draw your attention not towards exploitation or envy. It will draw your attention to the all attractive, all charming Krishna. Right? And then the society will not feel insecure. कि भाई ये 10 watt का बल्ब है, मैं 5 watt का बल्ब. Just because this is glowing brighter doesn't mean I will not get electricity. The sun will provide electricity to me as per my needs, and the sun will supply electricity to him as per his needs. Just because he's glowing brighter doesn't mean that I will decay. I'll have to fuse. So therefore, this comparative mentality comes because we are not conscious of the source. We don't need to be insecure if someone else is more powerful. We don't need to be insecure because someone else is more beautiful. We don't need to be insecure because someone is more wealthy. Because what we need, that will be supplied by the original source who has infinite quantity of everything. All of these attractive potentials.
So how nicely your answer to the first question and the second question.
So Sharat is asking nuclear plants. Yes, so basically even nuclear power, of course, if you go by modern science, the explosion, of the sun creates the planets and also, I guess, yeah, so in that sense. But we are drawing this just as an example for understanding that the source of any original source of any power in this world is Krishna. Okay.
So you spoke about seeing the presence of a bigger line, infinite in length. How nicely your answers to the first question and the second question, they are interrelated. Why? Because just seeing God or having His presence felt is not just about a physical being present in front of you, but having His presence felt, where you can get rid of so much of unwanted energy that we spend, being competitive, envying others, being greedy of others, with that negative energy, how much it draws out of you. You can save yourself all that mehnat. If you just you're clear here that there is a higher power and He is supplying to me sufficiently. Basically, one of the practices that you mentioned is spiritual, is sadhana. Talking of sadhana, one thing very common about Hare Krishna wale is the bead bag that they carry. Anywhere and everywhere they go, maybe training, buses, public places. What is the importance of mantra meditation, the whole concept of mantras when you talk about spirituality or a spiritual practice? Can you throw some light on that?
Okay, so so Hare Krishnas are known Hare Krishna because they chant
Hare Krishna.
We are not identified with अरे वो प्रसाद वाले, primarily I'm saying प्रसाद वाले भी बोलते हैं. We are not identified अरे वो शिखा वाले. We are not identified as धोती कुर्ता वाले. We are identified as Hare Krishna. Why? Because that's our primary practice. That's our primary means of spiritual realization. And Krishna says in the Gita, this 10th chapter, Yajnanam Japa Yagyosmi. Among all forms of yagyas, the topmost yagya is the Japa Yagya. And because it's Krishna's recommendation in the Gita and in other scriptures, therefore, we give prime importance to this practice of chanting. Now, talking of, now just digging into why Krishna says Yajnanam Japa Yagyosmi. So when you talk of yagya, what is the English translation of yagya? Devotees can type on the chat box. What do we mean by the English synonym or translation for yagya? Sacrifice, right? So when we talk of yagya, we are talking of sacrifice. You can sacrifice something which belongs to you, right? You can't sacrifice something which doesn't belong to you. So all the typical yagyas that we talk of, which are, the Jyotishtoma yagya, the Agnihotras, you sacrifice ghee, you sacrifice different types of seeds into the fire of yajna. There's even animal sacrifice. So there are different types of yajnas where you sacrifice these different objects. But the question which is pertinent is, do these objects belong to us? No. These objects I am sacrificing, I may be possessing this object for some time, but I am not the owner. Right? Like the ghee belongs to the cow. Right? The milk is the possession of the cow. And ultimately the cow comes from Krishna, from God. So I am just borrowing something and sacrificing. It doesn't belong to me. So when we are, so what is it that belongs to us which we can truly sacrifice? All of these other sacrifices are basically preparing us for the consciousness of for the habit of kind of letting go of something which I have assumed to be mine, letting go of something which I have hoarded or kind of captured to be mine, which doesn't belong to me. So basically बच्चों को अगर काउंटिंग सिखाना होता है तो क्या करते हैं? You take an abacus. ये पीली गोटी खींची, फिर नीली गोटी खींची, फिर हरी गोटी खींची, फिर गुलाबी गोटी खींची, तो 4 गोटी खींची, 1 2 3 4. So abacus is a framework which is meant to teach the child the process of counting. But the essence of that whole framework is to learn counting. But if a child is keeping on playing with those beads without paying any attention to the number 1 2 3 4, right, then that whole abacus becomes redundant. The purpose is lost. Similarly, all of these yajnas, when they just take the form of rituals, where just I have to do this ritual because this is something which is very increase my reputation in the society, which will yield me some material benefits. So then the yajna loses its purpose. It becomes a abacus which is not being used for learning counting. Now, when you are doing some sacrifice, you are meant to sacrifice something which belongs to you. None of these things belong to us. What is the only thing which belongs to the soul? Yes, dear friends, what is the only thing which belongs to the soul? Is it the body? Is it one's family? Is it one's skill? What is it that belongs to the soul? Yes, whenever Prabhu says consciousness. So consciousness is the only true possession of the soul. My chetana, my desires are the only true possessions which belong to me. Else, everything else is borrowed. Is borrowed from someone for some period of time. Even this body we have borrowed from our parents, or ultimately from Mother Nature, Prakriti, or ultimately from earth, water, fire, air, ether, or ultimately from Krishna. So we are sacrificing something which we have borrowed. But consciousness is something which Krishna has awarded to us as an independent, prized possession, which truly belongs to us. And Krishna doesn't interfere. Our free will. And interestingly, this process of japa, this process of chanting is the process where we offer our consciousness to Krishna. So the first time in this entire journey of yajnas, you come to a place where you are offering something which truly belongs to you to Krishna. Now, अभी तक तो केवल abacus से आप सीख रहे थे, अभी आप real counting कर रहे हो. Basically, chanting is a real counting, right? So that's why japa has been given. So any spiritual practice you take, whether it is yajna, japa, or chanting, is the topmost of yajna. If you talk of deity worship, you behold, you decorate the form of the Lord, you take darshan of the Lord. Now, what are you doing when you are chanting? When you are doing kirtan, you are also doing deity worship, because holy name is non-different from Krishna, and by singing with melodious tunes, singing with musical accompaniment, singing with devotion, you are trying to decorate Krishna who is already beautiful, right? So chanting is also deity worship, and you can see Krishna abhinattam nama namina. You can see Krishna face to face by the process of chanting. That's the power. So therefore, darshan of the Lord is possible through deity worship. Darshan of the Lord is possible also through the chanting of the holy name, because Naam and the Nami are non-different. So in that sense, chanting of the holy name is the ultimate yajna, ultimate deity worship. Now talking of yajna, you might ask कि भाई यज्ञ में तो आपका यज्ञ कुंड होता है, यज्ञ का घी होता है, यज्ञ का लेडल होता है. So Sudama Prabhu once told us that all of this is there in Japa Yajna. How? He says for offering a yajna, this is very interesting. For doing a yajna, you need a ladle, right? And you need a yajna kunda. So he said, look at the ear. The ear has a shape similar to the yajna kunda. It has multiple levels, right? It goes inside, right? So that's what this is the yajna kunda. And then you need a ladle. You need a ladle to pick up the ghee and offer it into the fire. So what is our ladle? So he said, your tongue is in the form of the ladle, which picks up the ghee. Now what is the ghee? The ghee is the Mahamantra. This tongue has got the power to pick up the Mahamantra. It has been given that potency to pick up this Mahamantra and then pour it inside the ear. So, and for the yajna to be successful, I need to make sure that my ghee is going inside the yajna kunda. Right? If I'm taking ghee and I'm distracted looking here and there and I'm pouring the ghee outside the yajna kunda, there will be no fire. Right? And if I am pouring adulterated ghee mixed with water, that's going to cause smoke. So when we are chanting, we should ensure that our chanting is, the pronunciation is pure. It should not be Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So it should be pure Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that's the pure ghee is the chanting of the holy name. And the fire is the fire of our consciousness. Right? We sacrifice our consciousness, which we could have diverted to so many other things. But we sacrifice our consciousness to be on the lotus feet of the holy name. I've just fixed my consciousness on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, who are my eternal mother and father, who are the beginning of everything, who are the basis of everything, who are the beauty of everything, who are the brilliance of everything, who are the best of everything. I want to sacrifice my consciousness for them. So this is the understanding of why Hare Krishnas are so obsessed with chanting. Hare Krishna.
Wow. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for that brilliant, wonderful explanation. My next question is, Prabhu, do miracles happen? What are miracles? And at times I'm so fascinated by someone who displays miracles. You know, when you delve into the realm of spirituality, you often come across a few saints, few sadhus who from thin air catch gold or bring out some a tuft of ashes, and those miracles tend to fascinate you, and you go into thinking that, and how right am I in assuming that, or how wrong am I? And what is the definition of miracle? What should we buy when we look at such happening?
Okay, this is an interesting thing, and it's also connected to what we have been discussing in this session today. We have in the 10th chapter we have been discussing how to see Krishna in everything. Right? When you see something splendorous, when you see something attractive, you try to see Krishna. You try to see Krishna empowering it, Krishna is the basis of it, Krishna is the beginning of it, right? So that's what we have been discussing. That how to see Krishna in anything which is splendorous. But mind my words. How to see Krishna in anything which is splendorous. But not how to see Krishna as anything that is splendorous. Anything that is splendorous is not Krishna, is not God, is a spark of God. So, and we are not supposed to be surprised. When you see anything miraculous, splendorous, you just pass it on. Yes, it's Krishna, my Lord. Krishna is so powerful. This is just a spark of his splendor. You don't limit God to the spark. You see Krishna through the spark. You don't see Krishna as the spark. You don't limit God to the spark. You use the spark to reach God. But when we are obsessed with spirituality, means there has to be miracles. There has to be something supernatural. Then only I'll believe. Then again, we are limiting ourselves to the boxing experience. That anything which fits into my box, then I'll believe. But the whole point is to get out of the box. Think and see out of the box. So that's the point number one. And point number two is if some guru, mystic, yogi, if they show you certain miracles, then first thing is to understand that this is a spark which has been given by Krishna because of their sadhana. And sadhana can have two consequences, two results. One is give some material siddhis and give spiritual siddhis. Material siddhis could be producing ashes, walking on water, walking on fire, living for 200 years, 300 years. There have been Babas. There is this Trailanga Baba, who has been recorded to live for 250 years. There is recently there is a Shivananda Baba, Shivananda Swami, who received Padma Shri award from the president. He is a Vaishnava from Varanasi. So he is living for 125 years and is in perfect health. So yes, there are material benefits which you can get, siddhis which you can get out of your sadhana. But that's not the point of sadhana. The point of sadhana is spiritual siddhis. And spiritual siddhis means transformation of consciousness, which means developing divine qualities, such as Krishna describes in the 13th chapter and the 12th chapter at various places. Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Shanti, Rajagam, 16th chapter. So all of these divine qualities are developed. So this is a siddhi. If someone is humble, don't consider or isme kaun si badi baat. That's the real miracle of spirituality. If you find someone devoid of ego, that is the miracle you should be looking for if you are a serious seeker. But if you find someone producing ashes and being proud of that, you should know this is just a very preliminary and initial, beginning type of spiritual yogi or saint. So that's something about siddhis, that you should see the source, that ultimately Krishna is providing the spiritual siddhis to the seeker. And miracles are abound anywhere. Now, if a dog barks, that's a miracle. But when a man starts imitating a dog, there is a stadium packed. How does this person can imitate the voices of different species? But if you look carefully, there is miracle all around us. The fact that we are breathing is a miracle. The fact that we are seeing is a miracle. The fact that we are walking is a miracle. Right? We are biped. We are walking on our two ankles, which has a spring ligament spring suspension, so that the body's load is transferred with complete accuracy, so that you have 30 kgs on each leg, or 40 or 50 kgs on each leg. So it's a miracle how that entire mechanism works. There are miracles everywhere. You don't need just some yogi or to show you a miracle. When you have the eyes of devotion, you can see miracle at every moment. And Albert Einstein said that you can live life in two ways. One way is to see everything as miracle, and another way is to see nothing as miracle. To see everything as miracle is basically to be just surprised by the wonder of this creation. Whereas to see nothing as miracle is being pessimistic. इसमें क्या है? इसके पीछे तो वो लॉ है, इसके पीछे तो न्यूटन्स लॉ है, इसके पीछे आइंस्टीन्स लॉ है. But then who is the lawmaker? Right? So that's what I would like to say about miracles.
Interesting. So again, the sound substances, it boils down to perception, how you perceive things, and see the hand of the Lord in each and every activity that we do or we see around us. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for that brilliant explanation. And I rest my questions for the evening. You may maybe take up a few that have been posted in the chat box or Facebook Live.
Okay, let's see. Dear friends, you can unmute yourself, ask any questions. You can post questions on the chat as you like. Any reflections, comments, thoughts you would like to share are most welcome. By the way, meanwhile, there's a question which I'm seeing in the chat. Okay, Anvaya Prabhu has asked, played a devil's advocate. Why should one not draw the bigger line by trying to become bigger oneself, becoming more competitive? अगर किसी लाइन को छोटा करना है, उसके साइड में बड़ा लाइन खींच लो, है कि नहीं? तो मैं ही वो बड़ा लाइन बन जाऊं, कृष्णा को क्यों बुलाऊं? Correct. But then I become the bigger line. But then in a few days I encounter a bigger line than me. Then I get frustrated, I get irritated. I want to somehow get that person to become smaller than me, to compete. Right? So there's no end to that. So therefore, you draw the infinite biggest line and rest assured that your functions will be fulfilled by that line.
And Prabhu, isn't it a humbling experience when you come to believe that you're limited either or by all of them? You're limited by time, place, and circumstance. Each and every time, whoever you are, however big you are, however rich you are, you're limited by time, place, and circumstance. You may be rich in India. The moment you move out of India, you move to a different country, to a strange land, nobody knows you. Nobody knows how significant you are. And again, you're that small line, and you have to draw that big line. So
now I never thought about that. We are limited by time, place, and circumstance. So I may be the richest man on earth now. What is that? Arnold, Elon Musk, after Elon Musk is now again the richest man, but for a certain duration of time. Right after that, he won't be any longer the richest man, right? And then place, I am powerful in this place, in this community, but there is someone else who is wielding more power, like political power, muscle power than me in some other place. And in some circumstances, circumstances, मतलब अगर चींटी हाथी के कान में घुस जाए, तो even that small ant can make life hell of that elephant, right? So even though I am very powerful, but that circumstance where of a small and entering the ear of the elephant makes that elephant helpless. So circumstance. So we will be forced to become small either by time, place, or circumstance. So we can't be the big lion, however much we want to. So anything else? So this is purpose of Gopi Chandan Tilak. Neha is asking. So yeah, maybe let's. Is there anything else related to the topics that we discussed? Any comments, reflections?
So I've got one question. It's this, a personal question.
Okay.
Prabhu, we spoke about being competitive, but many have this perception that the practice of bhakti or the practice of spirituality in one sense makes you lesser competitive and it makes you less equipped for the outside world where it it draws your competitive spirit and you're no longer good for the outside world to perform. So people shy away from bhakti.
You are satisfied with the mediocrity.
Correct.
Yes, that's what what to speak of bhakti. People even talk about the law of karma like that. Okay, when you know that things are destined, what's the point of endeavoring? Right? So you just accept your destiny. But that's an incorrect understanding of either karma or bhakti, path of bhakti or even karma. So when we talk of being conscious of our insignificance, it's not to make ourselves inactive and inactive and indifferent, but to activate ourselves for the function and purpose for which we have been created. Right. So if I don't know the purpose for which I am created, I'll try to copy anyone and everyone. If I see something attractive here, I'll try to copy that for some time. Then I see something attractive there, I try to copy that. But unless I understand the purpose of my creation, if a bolt doesn't understand what it is doing in that big machine, it will try competing. अरे मैं bolt इतना छोटा हूँ. If only I were the engine, if only I were the shaft, if only I were the wheel, right? But that bolt, when it understands, though I am insignificant, but I have a purpose and a function in the bigger scheme of things. And everyone is insignificant. I am a smaller bolt and there is a bigger bolt. Both are insignificant, but both are significant for the purpose for which they are serving. When we understand that our insignificance is in relation to the whole, but despite that, we have a function of serving the whole. So when we unlock that, then you are more spirited to contribute. You are most enthusiastic. You are not comparing with someone else, you are comparing with your own potential. Am I fulfilling the potential that I have been given? Am I fulfilling the purpose for which I have been created? And in that sense, there is no lethargy, there is no frustration, there is no, kind of, you get demotivated if you are not able to succeed and be at the top, because there's only one topper of the competitive exam. There are only few people who get into, one in 10,000 people who get into these top-notch colleges. What about the rest? Are they supposed to live a life thinking themselves that they are useless, they are failures? If you have just a society based on trying to compete and be at the top, you will have 90% of society living a life of mediocrity, living a life of thinking oneself to be not good enough, inadequate. But when you create a society where everyone understands their function, their potential and their purpose and acts according to that, you have everyone enthusiastic in whatever they are contributing.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing out this question so that it clarifies and there are no kind of misunderstanding. Okay, so let's go to Neha's question of purpose of Gopi Chandan Tilak. So basically, first of all, Tilak is is again, this entire 10th chapter was about seeing Krishna out in the world everywhere, and this Tilak is about also making others see Krishna, right? And making ourselves realize that this body, which I hold the most dear possession of mine, which I sometimes misunderstand as myself, mistake as myself, that body belongs to Krishna. This is the vibhuti of Krishna. So when you put that tilak, it's you acknowledge that this body is a vibhuti of Krishna. This is not mine. And it's a temple of Krishna. Krishna is sitting in the heart, and you decorate the temple. Right? You decorate the temple, you clean the temple. So you wake up early morning, take bath, put these tilaks, because we know this is a temple of Krishna, and a temple of Krishna is not meant for my enjoyment; it's meant for service. So that is why we put tilak, and then why Gopi Chandan? This is because the Gopi Chandan, there's a Gopi Talab in Dwarka, and that Talab is a place where all the gopis came from Vrindavan and they had Ras Leela with Krishna. And the lake which was formed because of the perspiration of the gopis, which Krishna wiped from his hands, that lake created this Gopi Talab, and their footprints are all over that place. So it's reminding us of, like, basically when you put that tilak, you find yourself in intimate connection with Krishna. So that is another, that is the reason why we put this particular Gopi Chandan.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And hopefully, today's session, although we wanted devotees to come physically also, but maybe some other time we'll have all of you aboard here so that we can do some one-on-one, face-to-face conversations and discussions. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.